Welcome back to the GHT Overland podcast, where we visit with overland travelers around the globe, sharing their stories and experiences with you. This is part 2 of our interview with Till as we talk with him from Guatemala. Let's jump back in where we left off as Till tells us about the arduous 2 to 3 hour decision he and Katrin had to make on turning back to Watson Lake or continuing on to Inuvik, risking snow and ice covered roads.
In Canada in October, we came up the Cashier Highway to Watson Lake. That's where you go to. Let's say that's the junction on the Alaska Highway where you have to decide if you go to Alaska Inuvik or you go back south. And at this time, the whole Cashier Highway was covered in snow, and we are going with empty tires, with mud tires. So these are not really winter-proof tires. And we stood there in Watson Lake and had to decide, okay, do we go back now, or do we drive up to Inuvik all the way the next 2 or 3 weeks, all on snow? Do we take the risk and do it? Or do we turn around? And we stood there at the visitor center for maybe like 2 or 3 hours discussing pros and cons and how big is the risk, what could happen, and stuff like that. And finally, we decided, okay, let's try it, let's go. And yeah, it was the best decision. So sometimes a bit slow, sometimes we were sliding over the road, but it all worked out pretty well, and it was amazing.
Great. So, what direction did you go?
From Watson Lake, we went to Whitehorse, and from Whitehorse we went to Inuvik. The Dempster Highway is about 700 kilometers one way without any phone reception or stuff. But we skipped Alaska because at that time that would have meant like 5,000 kilometers extra, and everything in Alaska, every national park and stuff was closed because of the upcoming winter, and we skipped that and did the Dempster Highway instead, and that was like 1 week driving.
Oh, wow. Okay, great. So tell us about your process for planning each trip or each leg of your current trip. Any particular software or process that you've worked out that works for you?
So we don't really have a process. We decide from day to day, but before the trip, I downloaded a lot of maps and software that we use. In North America, we basically always used Windows tablets with free Garmin software on it. The Garmin software is called MapSource and Enroute, and it's a tracking software, and you can load all maps, including military maps and stuff, on that, track with it, make waypoints with it, and yeah, it's a pretty cool software, and it's totally free. Here in Central America, we mostly work with our smartphones with Google Maps offline and Maps.me on it, because there are situations you don't want to have a huge tablet in front of your car that everyone can see. So it's more handy to have a small smartphone somewhere and check the route on that one. The tablet was a lot better, but yeah, for security reasons, we prefer the smartphone over here, and it's working well.
And you're able to find those routes that you're taking with different tracks?
Yeah, we are able. There's always a software. We have like Maps.me, Google Maps, Here Maps, and 2 or 3 others. And there's always one software where the road is, where you can find the road in. But you have to check back every software. So sometimes the road isn't stated at Google Maps and Here Maps, but it's on Maps.me, and sometimes it's the other way around. So
okay.
Yeah, and we have offline maps as well. So like, and not offline maps, satellite maps offline. And sometimes you can only find it on the satellite map, but that's a bit of research every day or every night. But it's worth it.
Okay, very good. Any specific safety planning you do or tips you can provide our listeners on safety and security on the road?
So until now, we never had any safety problem. We as I stated before, we had a few sketchy situations, but the way we do it is we always decide on the way we feel. So in North America, we camped free, like on BLM land or like in national forests, let's say for 95% or more. In Mexico, we camp free maybe like 50 or 60%. Here in Guatemala, we don't camp free that much. We mostly stay at a restaurant or, in front of a hostel or something like that.
So you are staying at like a different hostel or restaurant. Does that usually cost money, or are those free to stay at?
Usually it costs something. Let's say in Mexico and Central America, between $2 and maximum $10. But $10 is more like a campground with showers and stuff like that. But sometimes you can just ask at a restaurant and eat there, or have lunch or dinner there, and then they let you stay for free and use their toilets.
And along your journey, do either of you work on the road?
No, we don't work. For Katrin, it's not really possible to work because she worked in a laboratory, so she can't do that on the road. And for me, this would mean a lot of stress, having an employee and stuff like that. And we don't want to. I have worked like 12 years before. We saved the money for the trip, and at the moment we just spend it and try to have a quiet time.
Let's cover a little bit on communication. Are you using primarily a cell phone, or what is your primary means of communication, and even maybe a backup emergency communication plan that you have?
We primarily use cell phone. We buy a SIM card in every country to have internet connection. Mostly it's pretty cheap, maybe except the US. That works pretty well. The coverage is better than most of the people would think, especially in countries like Guatemala or Belize. It's maybe like a 90% coverage. Because the countries are so small and like digital developed, and for point-to-point communication we have some VHF radios with us, but this is mostly just for if we travel together with someone that we communicate and don't need to use the cell phone. But there's no backup like a satellite phone or a spot tracker or something like this because we decided it's not really necessary.
Okay. And on vehicle maintenance and repair, what was your pre-trip planning to make sure that your vehicle was good to go and you were confident in its capabilities?
So we bought the vehicle like 5 years ago, and I made from the first day, I tried to make everything by myself. So repair everything, change everything that's necessary to change. And we did a lot of, we added a lot of new parts to the vehicle before the trip to make sure it won't break down or anything can happen. Until now, we never had the case that anything went wrong I think we did like 60 or 70,000 kilometers now. So everything's fine. But I check the vehicle every day. And if something would go wrong, I could probably repair it. Maybe 90% of the vehicle I can repair by myself.
Okay. Any specific spare parts that you carry with you?
not really. Just a standard set of tools and some special tools. Like for the wheel bearings, there is a 54 millimeter nut. So no one would have that in his shop. So that's stuff we carry. Some special tools and a basic tool set, and some smaller spare parts like bearings, seals, and stuff like that, but nothing bigger. We only carry stuff that we need for a total breakdown. So I only carry spare parts that would, if there's a failure that would prevent us from getting to the next repair shop, that I can repair that to get to the next repair shop. But I don't carry stuff like alternators, you can order that pretty much everywhere.
Sure. And you carry one spare tire or two?
One, because the tires are super heavy duty. We never had a puncture until now. I really look for the pressure. I go up and down with the pressure every time to save the tire. And we have this one spare tire, and we have a tire repair kit. And in my opinion, this must be enough, because a second spare tire would mean like 50 or 60 extra kilograms. And I don't want to have that weight.
I agree with you there. So let's go through some onboard necessities. How much fuel do you carry with you, and do you have any particular way to calculate your fuel needs?
We have 2 fuel tanks with a total of 270 liters. So this is about 80 gallons. But we mostly just fill up the front tank, which is like 25 gallons, and maybe a bit backup in the back one for 3, 4, 5 gallons for backup use. If we fill up everything, this would be enough for about 1,500 miles, so a lot. We think about the stretch we do before we fill up, and then fill up on our needs, and not more than we have to. Mostly we calculate with a backup amount of, let's say, 5 to 7 gallons.
Okay, terrific. And on water, how much water do you carry with you, and anything specific that you're doing for water purification?
We carry about 75 liter of water. That's about 20 gallons, I think. 20 gallons. It lasts for about 1 week. We only fill up with purified water, so we don't have something like 2 water systems. In North America, we just it was just potable water from pretty much everywhere. In Mexico and Central America, there are special purification shops in every town, and you can fill up. The price is like 5 gallons for 50 cents or for $1, so pretty much nothing. So we fill the containers always up only with purified water, but as a backup we have a hand filter, like you use one for hiking. So if we should run out of water, we can filter it.
Okay. And do you guys use solar at all, or just the battery from the vehicle?
No, we have a second battery set up with about 150 amps, and we have about 100 watts of solar on the roof. And with that, under perfect conditions, we can park for like a week without running the engine. And after that, you need to run the engine of the vehicle for about 4 to 5 hours to charge up the whole system.
Oh, wow. Okay. Very good. Anything that we missed?
Not really. My advice would be just go. I mean, most people suffer and overthink this. we haven't. The main thing we have planned is the shipping of the vehicle and the insurance, and that was pretty much it. And then, and then we just went, and you will, the rest of the stuff comes on the road, and it's easier than you think.
Great. Now, something that's important to us is doing our part to help others along our path. Any philanthropy or giving back that you either do or you see the opportunity for our listeners to do as they go about their travels?
There actually is a lot to do. For starters, you can show people that most of the countries we travel through are not as they appear in the media. It's not everything is dangerous, and it's not every country means a problem. It's people are, in most countries of the world, people are super friendly and very welcoming. So this is something people could learn from overlanders. Then, of course, volunteering is a possibility if it doesn't cost local jobs. That's always such a thing. And what we do for example, we sometimes help street dogs or stuff like that. But I mean, just that you are here and spending money in the country and show people that not everyone from Europe is fancy and rich and walks around with a Rolex is a part of social giving back and a part of culture that has a kind of a positive vibe, maybe.
Okay, that's great.
So wrapping it up with some fun facts about you guys. Any hobbies or things you do on the road other than just driving and relaxing?
Yeah, just driving, cooking, making the bed and stuff eats up most of our time, more than most people would think. But if we have time, we like to read. We love to hike. We did a lot of hiking in North America. Like writing the blog, making Instagram and that stuff. And we started surfing on Baja because with hiking, it's a bit different. In Mexico and Central America, there are not so many hiking opportunities like in North America. And we thought, okay, we need to start a second sport to spend some time, at the sea. And we started surfing, and now we carry 2 surfboards, and we love to. Yeah, we will surf I think next time in 2 or 3 days in El Salvador.
Any musical instruments in your background or singing on the road around the campfire?
We love campfire and barbecues, but there's no singing or musical instruments, unfortunately. Would love to have some, but we both couldn't play anything.
So giving us a look on what your favorite drink is in the morning to get you going and your favorite drink to wind you down after a long day on the road.
Okay, in the morning it's definitely coffee. I'm a coffee junkie. This is the first thing I do if I wake up at 5, 6, 8, or 10. Doesn't matter. The first thing is cook a coffee. Besides coffee, it's pretty much only water and maybe a bit juice we drink. We don't drink alcohol, what makes the travel pretty cheap. Kind of boring.
Any additional advice to future aspiring overlanders like us?
No, like I said, just go. Don't overthink it. And I overthought it, most of the time, and it gets easier and easier as you spend more time on the road and do some previous trips. Don't go on such a huge trip if you've never slept in a car before or never did a week or 2 week trips. But just don't overthink it. Just go, sell your stuff and go.
That's great advice. Now, how can people learn more about you and what you're doing? Any social media, or I think you mentioned a blog that you're doing?
Yeah, there's a blog, but it's only in German. For English speakers, we have Facebook. It's Facebook.com/Hadahü. And for Instagram lovers, we have an Instagram since like I think 6 or 7 months. We have an Instagram feed, and this is Hadahü Troopie.
Okay, and then you've got a YouTube channel as well. Is that right?
Oh yeah, right. We started a YouTube channel. It only has maybe 12 or 13 videos, but I tried to make some more, and we will come up with an introduction of our car in the next few weeks or months, and we try to upload every video. We started to make videos in the US, and we love it, so that's why we started this YouTube channel, right?
Okay, yeah, that is great. Now, any more information you'd like to give or useful resources that our listeners should check out?
No, there's a useful resource, the iOverlander app. We use it a lot, just check on the internet. There are so many overlanders right now that are on the road, and you can get plenty of advice. And if someone has a question, just write us an email. We love to give you advice if we can, and share our experience with you.
Okay, great. And we'll put that information in our show notes. So thank you so much for your time. We are humbled that you've given us such an amazing look into your world and experience. So safe travels to you and Katrin, and we hope we can catch up with you again sometime soon.
Yeah, thank you for this opportunity. That would be nice.
Very good. Cheers.
Cheers.
Bye.
And that's a wrap. What a fun talk with Till. I think the value in these interviews is really coming through. The insights and specific equipment details Till provided, as well as our past guest, are just so valuable to not only ourselves, but other overlanders and our listeners that are either thinking about doing these same trips and these same routes, or just in general.
I don't know that I'd be gutsy enough to head to Alaska in the winter, such as Till did, but I mean, that's exciting in itself.
It came together for me as Till was going through their experiences, and I was thinking about an upcoming episode with another couple from Germany about to embark on a lot of these same routes. What great insight for them and so many others that will do the Americas, basically from Halifax, and they're both going through Canada over to the Yukon territories, potentially Alaska, and then down into Central and South America.
Where's Newfoundland?
So I was thinking about Newfoundland and an upcoming episode that we have with Bernd and Claudia. They were talking about potentially doing or going to Newfoundland, and Till had talked about that was one of his favorite places and how much they would have liked to have spent a lot more time there. So I just think that insight is really interesting as people think about their available time and what they're going to do, where they're going to be able to go, is really valuable from somebody that's already been there.
So what else comes to mind with our interview with Till?
Well, I think not only the insight on Newfoundland or just some of the places that really stand out to people was, as we had picked up on the beginning of this episode, where Till and Katrin had to make that decision in the Yukon territories. Are they going to go to Inuvik, which is like, I think about a 24, 27 hour drive. So it's a long ways in that time of year. So going to the Northern Territories, Yukon territories, they actually had to skip all of Alaska because of the time of year. I think it's good insight as well for people planning when they're going to go to specific areas and how much they're going to be able to see.
So what also comes to mind is they all have that opinion or outlook of wherever you travel, people are really generous. They're genuinely helpful. You're new to the area, and a lot of them just want to reach out to you.
Yeah, that's true. Everybody that we've talked to so far, I would say, in rough math, somewhere around 90% of the places that they go, people are very inviting and welcoming to their country, and just happy that they're there. And I think that's pretty fantastic, because if you were to just read the news, you would probably just stay at home and go nowhere, because the news will have you believe that that the world is a horrible place and there's nothing but danger around the next corner, where the people actually out traveling and not making a living based on putting fear in people are telling you the exact opposite. In most cases, there's always a few areas that are a little sketchy. But yeah, places like, there was an interview that's coming up. A couple had gone through Pakistan. I would never think to go through Pakistan. They're like, it was one of the best places we've ever been.
Yeah. I'm just thinking, prior to the interview, I think I'd hesitate to go through Pakistan. It just, for me, sounds a little dangerous.
Yeah, and he said, we went through all the stands. I think, if I remember right, there was one that was maybe not so good, but make sure and stay tuned to that. A really, really good one. What else do you want to go through?
A quick overview on what's coming up, additional coming up items.
Yeah, so we've got a couple things coming up. There's a few episodes that we're still working on editing and releasing, but some of the ones that I'm really excited about, we have an upcoming interview with Gaia GPS with their new app that has some really exciting features and really a great tool for overlanders. I've used Gaia for, gosh, I don't know, 4+ years, 5 years, quite a long time. Absolutely love it. So I'm excited to get them on an episode and actually be talking about that. So that'll be a lot of fun. And then we've got a couple, Jack and Jem from Australia. They'll be coming up soon as well. Super fun to talk to, and just a completely different area. Then doing Africa, we've gone through quite a little bit with a few interviews. North America, Central America. Then we'll cruise on down to Australia and talk with them. And it's summer there and it's winter here. So that was super fun.
I'm looking forward to Jack and Jem from Australia as well. There'll be a lot of information there. It's a good idea to visit the show notes page on our website at ghtOverland.com. Click on podcasts, then select the Till and Katrin episode. All the details and links are there for you. Thank you for listening to the GHT Overland podcast. We are grateful and humbled by your support. Be sure to give GHT Overland some podcast love by sharing the podcast with other overlanders and aspiring overlanders. Make sure to get the latest show by subscribing to the podcast on your app of choice or podcast host of choice. A rate and review is always helpful as well, keeping the web magic flowing. Thank you so much. See you next Thursday. Bye.